You know, there comes a time when one must take a position that's neither safe nor political nor popular, but one must take it because it is right. Now, the federal government is considering a countrywide ban on commercial motorcycles as well as mining activities, all in a bid to stop rising insecurity across the country. Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, disclosed this after the National Security Council meeting at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Meanwhile, suspected terrorists have attacked Gatigawa village in Kankara local government area of Katsina. They left a trail of blood, tears and sweat and sorrow as 5 policemen and 3 civilians were murdered in cold blood. The choice is between what is right and what is easy. But first, let's share the story of the National Security Council meeting by TV News. Femi Akonde. Femi, over to you now.
The second Security Council meeting in 2 weeks. Another opportunity for the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces to appraise the security situation in the country, take action and make recommendations. This time it appears far-reaching measures will be taken that may have a direct implication on security across the country. The federal government is considering restricting the use and distribution of motorcycles, which is a major means of logistics for terrorists and bandits.
It was extensively deliberated often as to what needs to be done for the purpose of ensuring that their means of logistics are indeed adequately considered and the necessary steps are taken in degrading their capacity to move around.
The Security Council also considered a possible ban on mining activities as a way to suppress the source of funding for bandits and terrorists. It appears these mines have become the playground for criminals and has forced investors to leave the sector.
Government is looking at what measures to take in terms of addressing, bridging, and blocking associated source of funding, including payment for ransom, and indeed the mining activities, and the possibility or otherwise of suspending for the time being mining activities.
The Minister of Interior disclosed that a preliminary report of the attack on the Kuje Correctional Facility is on the President's desk.
Sufficient efforts at intelligence were made, but unfortunately those of you who accompanied me when I visited the place will show that I said very clearly that we had some problem with the will to hurt, and that is how I want to say. I'm not blaming anybody.
The enactment of the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act, signed by President Muhammadu Buhari in May this year, will now provide a legal framework for the federal government to tackle banditry and terrorism on all fronts, especially stopping the cash flow to terrorists, apprehend and prosecute their financiers. Femi Akonde, TVC News, Abuja.
All right, many thanks, Femi. Jide, you know, we are living in very interesting times.
Yes, we are.
Very interesting times.
The biggest problem confronting our nation is insecurity. Maybe some years back, the biggest problem was corruption. Some years back, the biggest problem was the economy. Now, people think that they have to be alive first before they can even make ends meet. Security has suddenly become the biggest problem confronting our nation. And if there are people who are displeased with this government, a good number of them are displeased because of the government's record in tackling insecurity. And no matter what the government does, no matter the gains in other sectors, if it does not defeat insecurity, if Nigerians do not see clear improvement, verifiable improvement, they are going to judge this government harshly by the time President Buhari leaves office.
You get the impression that we are being crucified between two thieves. We are worried about our yesterday and our tomorrow.
I'm far more worried about tomorrow than anything else because it keeps getting worse. The security situation is a lot worse today than it was yesterday. That's why I should be bothered about tomorrow. If it is a lot worse today than it was yesterday, the signs are there that if we do not take the right steps, it can only get worse. It's been getting worse. I went to interview people selling rams and other livestock just before the Salah.
Last holiday, yeah.
And they were telling me that, look, ram is expensive because the hinterland where they used to go to price these things and then bring them to the city centers and all that to sell.
Have become
Those places
unsafe.
there are places that you can't even go.
Wow.
You can't go. So if you can't go to bring out the livestock, the few people who are able to bring out the livestock they are going to sell at a very exorbitant rate. A lot of Nigerians are complaining about high food prices. It is largely because of insecurity. Why should a bag of local rice be selling at more than 32,000 naira?
Yeah.
Jero, which many people reckon is the cheapest food, even that one.
Jero, is that not millet?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is extremely expensive now because people can't access their farms. And if they can't access their farms, we will starve. Food insecurity is a big problem that we are facing now as a country. Poultries are shutting down.
Yeah.
Because maize is extremely expensive. The few who can even harvest maize, some of them are thinking of sending it outside Nigeria because the currencies of our neighbors are stronger than our currency. So it pays them to go and sell over there. So we have every reason why we must defeat this insecurity. I see some of what they've suggested. I don't see anything revolutionary about this because in Zamfara, when they were saying, we are going to ban mining, I said mining is not the reason you have rampant insecurity in Zamfara. There are local governments in Zamfara where banditry is rampant, whereas they don't have...
Is it mining or illegal mining?
Whether it is illegal, I'm telling you, I'm heading somewhere. There are communities in Zamfara, and the people of Zamfara, they are watching me. There are communities in Zamfara where banditry is rampant and they don't have an ounce of gold. God did not bless those communities with gold. So to think that, if we ban mining in Zamfara, maybe they banned mining in Zamfara, it's about 2 years now. Zamfara remains the headquarters of banditry. I think they are struggling now, they and Niger, for the trophy for banditry in our country. So how come the ban on mining has not stopped banditry in Zamfara? It has not stopped. So banning mining is certainly not going to... We came up the other day, we said, okay, we are telcos, stop working. We want to... Has it stopped anything? It didn't stop. These are not the strategies to adopt.
Yeah.
The strategies to adopt, we've suggested, they are not taken. We said, look, embark on military action against these guys. At the same time, simultaneously, across the contiguous states.
Yeah.
We are reluctant to do that. Without doing that, we can't go far. This is the thing. You can ban motorbikes. A lot of the bandits don't even use motorbikes. It depends on where you're talking about. A lot of them, okay, are they not kidnapping people even in the southwest? The Waraja, some of those places, Ilesha, the Akure Highway, they kidnap people there. Are those ones, are they using motorbikes?
Hold on, Jide, one on a ban, no go to Akwa Ibom because now we start them.
The motorcycle taxi started in your.
I
You
say,
taught us how to ride.
When on a ban.
Okada.
No
Okada
go
for
there.
commercial.
Paul, seriously, Jide talked about, at the time, we bothered about economy. Later, we worried about corruption. Now we have all three playing out now. Paul, it is time to stop looking at the window and looking at the mirror. Look at the man in the mirror.
You know, I laughed when BKO said Niger and Zamfara were competing for.
Me and the one asking.
But my laughter
will give the prize.
My laughter was mirthless. Because you know Yoruba say when something don't pass, cry, you go they laugh. You know, sometimes when somebody runs mad, you just start laughing.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that you're happy. You know, one of my friends said that the way Nigeria is, a lot of us should go and check our mental health. And I said, how do you know the person that will examine you is also having a mental problem? Because the person is also living in this country. The thing is, the Nigerian problem is so hydra-headed. Insecurity being the major thing. Now, if you ban motorcycles, I'm just laughing. You are still going to end up creating more security problems because you take away people's means of livelihood. And then what do? What alternatives are you planning for them? Many of them will end up joining, of course, bandits already, Boko Haram and bandits are dangling carrots, poison carrots before people, enticing them. So a lot of people have no option. They will just end up becoming part of the criminal enterprise. That's the truth. Yes, we know that there are states that have banned Okada, but that's a different thing.
Yeah.
That's a different. Lagos State has banned Okada in some places. They call it phased banning. Lagos State is different from some of these places. What is the means of transportation in some of in the hinterland? You know, if you ban Okada. So the truth of the matter is, we need to. You know, I'm just aside thinking, maybe one should just. I don't want to lose hope because I'm very pessimistic about the capacity or the willingness of this government to deal with this thing holistically. Because the solutions are not far-fetched. What about the issue of sabotage we're talking about?
From the inside.
From the inside. We've seen community leaders sabotaging the efforts of security. We've seen people even in the security section. We've seen governors or maybe governor presidents saying that there are people in government who are sympathetic towards the bandits. What are we doing about that? Nothing.
Jide, you know, we must not lose sight of the story about the Katigawa village in Kankara.
Yes.
You know, the terrorists roamed wild and in a freewheeling attitude felled 5 policemen and some civilians.
You know, those communities in Katsina State that the Rugu forest is passing through them. This Rugu forest, you can link Briningwari, you can link Niger State with the forest. Even it extends beyond our country. The bandits, that is their home. The Rugu forest is
and we
home.
know this.
We know. I've talked about this a lot of times. We know. A bandit, you know each location. When you're talking about a location, you know the bandit that is calling the shot there, the bandit leader calling the shot there. He dare not go to another bandit leader's territory. Except if he wants to die. So we know when you are talking about Zamfara and part of Katsina, we know the bandit leaders that are in that area. So you can't tell me that the security agencies do not know. What I want to see is even those big bandits. Let's even hear that they've been killed. Chuji, Kachala, and the rest of them. Let's even hear.
What about Wadume? Is also one of them.
No, it's not. Wadume is not that kind of. Wadume was kidnapping people,
G-
but was
Jide,
living
but
with
a
the rest of us.
bandit is a bandit.
No,
is
no,
a
we are talking
terrorist.
about people staying in the bush, operating in the bush.
Okay.
Wadume was operating inside
Within the town.
And a lot of people around him did not even know that he was a kidnapper.
Just like Evans, it was just
They
like
didn't know. If you saw Evans on the road, Evans was a bandit himself, kidnapper. There's no way by which you can look at Evans's face and conclude that this is a bandit. But he was a very clean guy and all that.
I say they follow jog like you and I.
So you see him, you think this is a good person, you know. So what the point I'm making is, look, it's not by banning mining. There are communities where these guys, they are present. They don't even have gold deposits, but those guys are there. So the military approach, because you cannot settle these guys. They've shown that they can't be relied upon. If you try to make peace with them, they will still come back and still start kidnapping people after like 6 months when they finish spending all the money that you gave them. So military action can go a long way. And why I think military action can go a long way is because of the successes we are recording in the Northeast. We can record that kind of success even in the Northwest. But our approach has to be better, the strategy has to be better, and we must show no mercy. We must not show mercy to these guys. It appears that we give them the room
To operate.
And
And
we know where they are. We can't say we don't know where
What
they
even
are.
bothers me is the way they kill security men. And I mean, if security men are not protected, how can you and I, who don't carry guns, protect ourselves? If they can so kill policemen freely or soldiers freely, and then there is no action, nothing is done, no
Paul, I
repercussion.
cannot fail to mention the Ochoyi Omoko village. That's in Jide's state. Seizing the passengers on the Abuja Lokoja highway.
Yes.
It's also part of
same
the
thing we are
this thing
saying.
we are
Some
talking about.
parts of
travel-
that highway,
you can't travel on the
some
road
parts
now.
of that highway that are very dangerous, especially along the boundary between the FCT and Kogi State. That's Abaji. That whole area is full of bandits.
Huh.
It's not every stretch of that road that is dangerous. It's just a small part. You know, in some cases, you're looking at even the Kaduna Abuja highway. It's just around 20 kilometers that are dangerous.
And it is
And
not
all
difficult.
those attacks are happening
it
within that 20
is not
kilometer
difficult
radius.
to smoke them out.
That is the thing. Because on that highway, I've talked about it on this program, on that highway, it is that 20-kilometer stretch. It is there that you have bushes on both sides of the road,
That's it. Yeah.
which they can use to escape to Niger State.
And rocks too.
Yes, so we know where those attacks are constantly happening. Shouldn't there be a means of exterminating them within that area of operation, where they operate from? I just don't understand.
All right. That will be all for today, but not before thanking Paul for coming.
You're welcome.
And Jide too for coming.
Thank you.
But gentlemen, whatever we like, make we believe. The sun will rise tomorrow from the east and set in the west, as always.
Whatever we like, may we believe. Everybody go chop breakfast.
So people will not chop. Some people don't have money to eat breakfast tomorrow. That's a fact.
That's it on the program, and
Boy, somebody, Nigerian musician, assuming that everybody eats breakfast.
yeah.
Some people don't know where their dinner will come from.
People don't know when their next
Where the next meal will come from. There are people like
You
that.
are saying everybody will
Hold
chop
on, we
breakfast.
dey joke about bread, but
Some
you
people
see
will
wetin
beg you
bread
for
dey talk.
1,000 naira to eat. I'm serious.
Well,
Is that bad?
You want ofekani? Make we go. I beg.